IMGS, we deliver innovative spatial solutions for the desktop, web, and mobile, built on our partner technology. So our partners are Intergraph, Hexagon Geospatial, Leica Geosystems, and Safe Software, who provide the FME software a lot of you use. And our solutions are designed to meet the challenges of government, mapping agencies, and utility communication customers. And our customers include Ordnance Survey Ireland, Ordnance Survey Northern Ireland, now known as Land and Property Services, ESP, Aircom, NIE, BT, and the Irish Naval Service, and every local authority in the Republic of Ireland. So the first part, we're going to try and go through today an end-to-end process of different planning solutions we have. So we're probably just trying to take from how people actually interact with planning. So the first area that people usually do is they would look to submit make a pre-planning request to actually calculate or find out what the likelihood of being granted planning application in their area or for their site. So we have a solution which is Location Publisher Pre-Planning, and its purpose is to assist in the consultation process between the planning authority and members of the public, so in the terms of a proposed development. So in practice what happens is the planning authority or the local authority can configure a spatial report which will be generated when the member of public visits the self-service website and they enter in their information, usually some basic information about themselves, their address. The map then zooms to that location. They can then draw the polygon of the proposed development site, and then the report can then be generated and used as a basic reference. So the idea is, for example, if they're building in an area that's outside a development zone that's classed as residential only or recreational only, then they can get that answer in the report saying, well, we currently under the following law, we don't actually allow planning in that area. Or they could be given indication of other planning applications in the area, or if the proposed site is in a heritage area or development or a protected zone or whatever, anything that you have spatial information on, you can then return that in the spatial report. So we've had this self-service pre-planning solution for a number of years, but with the 4.3 release which came out earlier this year, we now have made the homepage configurable to show or hide user details. So some local authorities may want to record the citizen's name and address and everything, and some may not. Again, it comes down to how you want to handle data protection. If you start recording this information, you then have to protect it and make sure no one uses it for other purposes. And again, with the homepage, you can also configure it to use different ways of entering in the address. So for rural authorities, they may want to use the townland, street, and building. The townland. And then for urban areas, you might just want to use building number, street, town. So that again can be used with the new version. And again, with the 4.3 version, we've improved the mapping. So we've updated it to now support WMS mapping. So for our Republic of Ireland customers, they can use Ordnance Survey Ireland's Map Genie product. But also we can support Google Maps, Bing Maps, OpenStreetMap, pretty much any background map that can be provided via a WMS layer we can actually support in the application. And also now when you print off your report, you have the option to embed the map in the spatial report so people can actually have that as well as the details of the report. So just going to show you a demonstration of that. And the first customer who's adopted it in Ireland is adopted a new version in Ireland is Sligo County Council. And if you go to their main website, so after this demonstration, if you have time and want to play around with yourself, you can actually use it. So sligo.co.ie, and you'll see there on the online services, there's a link saying pre-planning system updated. So if I click on that link, and hopefully my Wi-Fi is still up, yep, we'll see the self-service pre-planning system comes up, and the banner comes up with the County Council logo, and we should get our little search address and thing. So again, this is a rural authority, so they can enter in a townland. So I can type in the townland I want to use. As you see, as I type, the Ajax control automatically shortens the list of townlands based on what you're typing. So I can pick Abbeytown here. I could have also picked a town or a street because this is a rural authority. Again, if this was a purely urban authority, instead of having townland, you have the option to have house number, street, town. It's all configurable. You can use whatever way you want to do in the address. I can then hit continue. It'll then fire up the location publisher map. The map then will center on the townland I've passed in, or the address I've passed in, and we'll then be able to see it. It's running a bit slow today. Hopefully we have a lot of connections going through here for the demo. And it should come back. Definitely seems a bit slower than normal. I'll give it a second. So what should be happening, in theory, is the map should be coming back now with the location publisher map embedded in it, which was working fine earlier on. So I'm not sure why that's not coming back. Let's try that again. F5. Alright, so let's try it again. Try another address. Continue. I think my Wi-Fi is just acting up there for a second. Not sure what's going on. So you can see we have our nice map. It's now a nice drag map. So I think some local authorities may have an older system that didn't really have this nice user interface for drawing maps, for pulling the map and dragging it and moving it around. So you can see the nice Ordnance Survey Map Genie web service is coming in. As I zoom in, you can see that the buildings and the polygons come on. And once I get down low enough, I can actually then decide to draw my little proposed development. So I might be saying, right, on this area here, I'm going to put a house. Draw that again. And draw the polygon, double click, and the polygon is saved. And then I hit save. And now they've taken that spatial polygon and run it against the data in their spatial report. So the spatial report is now fully configurable through the location publisher web tools. So in the web administration, you can actually configure exactly what you want in the report, exactly the order of the layers. So if you want planning applications as the last thing to be queried and displayed in the report, you can do it. So whichever layers have your priority, you can do it. So if I scroll down the report now, you see the first thing that Sligo wanted to have up was the electoral area that the application is in, the administrative boundaries, the planning areas, then the road engineering areas. And then you can see here on the development plan, it says this is development plan zoning. We type whatever now. And you can see now with this version, we can have amended map, zoning maps. So if I click on that link, it then brings up inside the application the PDF, which is about 7 megs, with the data in it, so you can actually link to that site. Now you could have that link that also pops off into a new window, and I wouldn't have this refreshing. So any data you have to support the report, you can actually link to and set these hyperlinks up inside the report itself. So not only can you query as many tables using as many spatial rules as you want, inside of, nearest, touching, whatever spatial operator you can, it'll then generate the answer in the report. So you can see in the PDF here, there's the zoning for that area, and it shows the zone that was related to that answer. We can also then see down here the different types of geology. Is there an airport near there, and any planning applications? And again, if I click on the planning application, you can see in this one the link was set up to pop out, and this then goes off to the off the location publisher to show the location of that planning boundary on a map. So you can see in location publisher the planning boundary, and it zooms to that. And again, just like with the just like with any location publisher, and we'll be showing this portal later on in the WebEx, you can then see down here, this is the application that was touching where I was building, or maybe they're using a rule of within distance of. So yeah, touching. So remember, I drew inside that big boundary, and it now shows that in the report. And you can see the report can be as simple or as complex as you want. You can see all the different planning apps. The ones that have been digitized are here, they're in the area. And you can also show or hide the map that you've captured inside the report. So you can actually now see that report. And if you need to, we have the link which brings you back to the report, or you can actually link and bring up the map in the fully interactive location publisher map. So in here then I can zoom out and you can see the area and you can see the speed of the system as it's running. So that's the first area in our planning solutions is in the self-service. So the member of public can go online 24/7 if they have an interest in an area that they want to understand the viability of developing that area. Maybe they're interested in buying the site, maybe they own the site. They can fill out this report and not actually have to come into the council, not have to take up people's time. And when they do actually make their planning application, they should be very well informed about the likelihood of getting planning applications. And I have talked to some authorities about this, and I think that they did get a lot of times some people who put planning applications in with no chance of passing, but they may be badly advised by agents. Hopefully this kind of self-service application provides the ability for people to query the likelihood of them getting planning in an area and only put in relevant applications. Of course, everything which has disclaimers and everything to make sure the local authority is protected. So once you have someone does submit the planning application, the next thing you want to be able to do is capture that planning application boundary or the GIS of that boundary. So we use, one of the tools we can use for that is GeoMedia Smart Client. So GeoMedia Smart Client is an advanced web editing and workflow optimization solution, and allows you to create customer-specific workflows in an easy way across the enterprise. So it's an efficient map-based tool for editing geometry, attributes, querying, viewing, and printing. So all the things you need to do if you are capturing the planning application boundaries. Some of the key features of Smart Client is that it's a feature-rich mapping, full Java client. You can do multi-parameter attribute searches. We have advanced analysis tools, so when the technician is capturing the data, they can also query other information as they're building the report as to whether the application should be approved or not. We can do data capture, so of the boundary, dimensioning and redlining, and of course we support advanced plotting. And we support large quantities of data through caching, so this caching can be done both at the server side but also on network and client. And it comes with full Active Directory and LDAP security and single sign-on for functionality rights and geographic rights. So the planning workflow we have is the ability to create the planning boundary. So you can select existing text record from either your iPlan or APAS or Odyssey systems. So in the Republic of Ireland, these are the three main textual planning systems that are used to manage the planning applications. Today we'll be showing integration with iPlan, but we can integrate easily with APAS or Odyssey. And actually, the structure we use through SQL really means that we can integrate with any planning system, as long as it has an open kind of SQL call. So we can capture the boundary, then we can copy the boundary. So in a lot of cases, you get planning applications at the same site. So the boundary hasn't really changed. It's just an updated planning application a few years later. So to save the technician having to redraw it, they can actually copy a previous boundary. And then if they want, they can edit that boundary, maybe make it smaller if the site has been divided, or if need to, you can delete applications. And also, for any customers that who may be behind in their GIS capture of boundaries, or if they have them in a graphical system but not actually assigned to database records, we have the Assign Planning Boundary tool where you can assign a boundary to an existing planning record in the database. So I'm going to hand over to Kieran, who's going to show you now the GeoMedia Smart Client workflow for planning.
Thanks, Kieran. Okay, just going to show you some, we've got some background DCC data here. So I'm just going to go to a bookmark I've set up here, Cabra. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to digitize a new planning record. So I've got all my attribute data in the database for this record. Here we go. So I just put the planning reference I have in there, 20265, and if I press tab there, then that will populate the details there from the attribute database. So I have all my details there. Again, this is all configurable as well, so you can add in various text box there if you want. Okay, so I'm going to save that, and what I'm going to do then is I'm going to digitize a new polygon. So I'll just take my record there, and you can see that it's snapping the lines there as I digitize. So that's my record there. So I want to save that record. Just click save, and that's my planning record digitized.
So I suppose that we're doing this in a browser. So a smart client, it's all driven through a server. So you're actually now able to, you can make that data capture as accurate as you want, really, because you, with the snapping and being able to go off the ordnance of direct data,
yes,
it's the same accuracy really as you would with a desktop.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, that's very good.
Okay, so I'm just going to click on this record here, and it should show up in my results panel. Here you can see in my results panel I have 4 buttons. These are all configurable, so you can add in as many buttons here to do whatever you want with it. I've got an info button which can go out to an APAS or ePlan or whatever system you have. I've also got a copy button here, which Kira mentioned earlier, that we can copy this record to another record. So if you get in a new planning application and there's already an existing boundary for that planning application in another application, you can copy it over to this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just type in the new planning record here, 303, and just press tab. And again, that will populate the attribute data from my database. So I'm just going to click copy there, and that should copy the record out to there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the selection tool here. So I've got a point selection tool. Just get rid of this data down here, and I'll click on the record here, and here you can see I've got 2 records in the same position there. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to edit one of the records, and I just click on edit there, and I can again edit that record to wherever I want, and again I can save that. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, so there you can see I've got my 2 records, one on top 303 and the other one on the bottom, which is 265.
And those two clips here that are shown there, they're all configurable?
They're all configurable, yeah. They're very easily configurable through the administration screen or the admin console. Okay, so again, you have delete buttons as well. If you want to get rid of a record, you can delete that and just click delete planning. Okay, and that's really it. I'll just hand you back to Kieran.
All right, thanks. So I just have to be on the panel back to me. Yep. Okay, so so Kieran very quickly showed how we can capture planning application boundaries. So the next quick step we're going to show is when you have this data, you want to be able to also then capture other related planning information. And one of the workflows we've created is to capture monuments. So again, when you're doing either your spatial report for pre-planning, or if you're doing your data capture for planning, you really need to know what's in the area, if there's other features in the area. So from a planning point of view, naturally, if you're going to build a house on top of Newgrange, you're going to get blocked. So, or within a certain distance of monuments. So in Ireland, we have a lot of monuments, so we need to know where they are. And then when any future developments are being done, we want to make sure that they're not impacting on the monument or going to cause any damage. So our monuments workflow in Smart Client allows you to capture these protected structures, monuments, and architectural features. And this is then a key data required for the planning decision-making process. And in Smart Client, Kieran hasn't shown it yet, but he'll show it in a second. We can use measurement tools and redline tools then to analyze the impact of the planning application against the monument. So is the new planning application within 100 meters of a monument? Is it near a road? Is it in the way? If you're doing any kind of development, then you can actually see this. So I'm just going to hand back to Kieran here, who will show. show you the monument.
Okay, thanks, Kieran. So here I'm just loading in some Sligo data. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to zoom into a rural area. Actually, one bookmark here. I'll just go quickly into that.
So those bookmarks here, and they not only store the location, so it's a great way of saving a session. They store the location of where you were, but also whatever you have turned on, the legend, whatever way the workspace set up.
Yeah, say their current state that you have in your workspace.
That's right, good, yeah.
Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to digitize monuments. So just go into the digitize monuments label here. Okay, so I add in an entity ID, which can be anything. And from the drop-down list, and again, these are all configurable, I can select whatever class and description I want to give the record. And they also have the ability to add in a photograph there, so I can select any photo and just attach it to the record. And then I can select whatever townlands the record is going to be recorded in. So if I just click on Save Monument there, and then I'm in digitize mode. So again, I can create a point or a polygon within this feature. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a polygon, and just going to put it out in the middle of the field here. So that's my new monument, so I'll just save that, and that's that record saved. Okay, so one thing we can do here as well is the redlining, printing, and measurements. So I'm just going to show you some redlining. Change that record, and there you can see on the side there you can change the styling of the redlining. So I'm just going to do some redlining record there, and I'm going to show you then some measurements. I'm going to do a line measurement, so I'll do a measurement from my monument to the nearest building, and I'll also do measurements to possibly the nearest road. Okay, so there you have your measurements and your redlining on the screen, so you can then of course print. So just go into the print menu here. Okay, so here you can actually turn the print screen to whichever way you want. So you can fit in your details there, and you can show the measurement and the redlining in your print. So you can turn it to have it look straight on the page. So if you preview that, then
you can also shrink it, can't you? Either
you can shrink and enlarge it, and you can even put in the scale here, so that'll scale to whatever scale you want. And here you can see that we've got some banner here, we've got text here, we've got the coordinates here, and we've also got a scale bar as well. So this is all configurable, so you can put all this text in using the administration console as well.
And again, you can plot A0, A4, A1, whatever you really want.
Yeah, you have all the dimensions there. You can even set up your own printing dimensions.
Okay, very good. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
That's the monument. Ripping through them now. Hand back to me. Okay, so once you have your data captured and you have your planning applications, you have your enforcements, you will then want to be able to publish that data across your organization so that other members of the local authorities can review the information, can analyze it, can see it. So we make that data available using GeoMedia WebMap, which is a sister product of Smart Client that we've shown you already. And WebMap allows you to easily deploy web services and web applications to provide real-time access to the enterprise data and powerful analytic tools. So with web map, you can publish maps directly from your GeoMedia, and it contains all the spatial analysis functionality of GeoMedia. And so it's very easy then to deliver data to any client application straight from your desktop through the configuration out through web map, and then it's made available via web services to whatever applications you want. So we support WMS, WFS, and WCS. We also can support publish out directly to a web application. There's both a web publisher application and a geospatial portal application that comes with GeoMedia Web Map Advantage that most of our local authority customers use. So you can actually publish straight out to that. So I'm going to hand back over to Kieran now, who's, if I can find the wee control, is going to show you GeoMedia Web Map. Very nearly in action there with the phone.
Okay, thanks, Kieran. Okay, so here I've got a web publisher portal loaded in, and I've got various bits and pieces of data here from Dublin City Council. What I'm going to show here is some planning data. So I'm just going to show some spatial analysis that you can do with the planning data. So here you can see if I click on the drop down here, various options, and I can do a spatial analysis by anything that's in, any attribute that's in that database or in that feature. So here I'm just going to do a spatial analysis by location. So I just put in location there, and I just check the visible, and this will show me all the planning records in the Inglis location. So hopefully they'll pop on the screen there, and there you can see them there. So what I'm going to do now is just going to zoom in a little bit more. Okay, so here you can see I have my planning data there, various records, and I can double click on the record and get the data back from the database. And again, you can link this out to APAS or Swift or whatever you have there. Okay, the next thing I'm going to show you is the geospatial portal. Now, this is it's just another flavor of the web publisher portal. Geospatial portal has more tools for spatial analysis and data analysis, and it also has a time slider, which I'm going to show you here. So I've just load up that site, and here you can see I've brought in this WMS. It's planning over time. So I published this WMS using GeoMedia and GeoMedia Web Publisher, and I was able to bring it in here. You can bring in data sources by using this tool here, and you can see all the various different data sources that Kieran mentioned. You have Apollo and Google, Bing, and WMS and tile services and all that. Okay, so I'm just going to switch. I'm just going to zoom in here to the Dockland area, Dublin, and I'm just going to switch over to the time tab here. And here you can see my planning data is loaded in. So here I have a time slider. So what I'm going to do is just, it's set out over the years, so each year will have a different data set. So there you can see I'm changing my time slider to the various years, and you can see the data loading in there in the background.
So can we see the crash? Can we see the property crash? Not the software crash, the property crash.
Well, that's just data from 2014.
That's 2013, and
yeah.
I think if you go back a couple of years, you'll see that there's a lot of blanks in that area. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can also type in the year there on the left-hand panel, can't you?
You can type in the year here. Yeah, and all you need is a date attribute in your feature, and you can set this up very easily through GeoMedia.
So really, it's a very powerful tool. You can show planning development, but you could against zonal data of that time. So even if people wanted to see the impact of zonal, a zonal law change, what the development change that happened in the area. You can read this very powerful.
It saves loading in different data sets for different years.
Yeah, or running a query and then turning on year 2013, you can actually just very quickly dive through it. I really like that too. I think it's pretty cool. So that's very good.
Okay, so that's it.
So that's it. So yeah, so the GeoMedia, and like a smart client and both the portal and the web map also have the ability to do simple redlining and queries and printing and things like that.
Yeah, and your measurement tools.
And your measurement tools. Okay, so we won't dwell. We're doing a full whirlwind of all the products. So if I get control back there, Kieran. Thanks. Okay. So once you have your data, on the intranet, the next thing, of course, in any planning workflow is to be able to publish this data out to the web, so people that can actually see the information. So what we have in this instance is Location Publisher, which allows you to publish interactive mapping to the web to provide interactive maps and spatial intelligence to your enterprise websites and workflows. And it has the potential to drive a number of applications in your organization. But today we're going to talk about it from a planning portal point of view. And it's easy to configure, and it requires no programming or plugin. So it's really an accessible website designed for public use. So for people who you can't train, to make it very easy to use, to be able to disseminate this kind of big planning data on the internet and use it very easily. So I'm going to jump out to Dublin City Council's public website. So if I go to Dublin City Council public website, you can see here I can click on Map Zone, Planning Information, and they have then the map will turn, the location publisher will turn on. So you can, this is another one of these websites you can see after the demo yourself. You go to dublincity.ie, you can then see the location publisher. So you can see when it turns on, our planning group is automatically turned on. I can then zoom in on the centre of Dublin. Because we're using the web services from Ordnance Survey, they're very, very fast, so the data is coming back very quickly. And as I hover over the planning applications on the page, you can see they're now interactive. Now, Location Publisher is designed to be accessible, so you can run this on Chrome, you can run it on Internet Explorer, you can run it on Firefox, doesn't really matter. Whatever the user has, they can actually run the application. So if I click on a planning application, you'll then see it comes back on the map, in the results panel, very similar to some things Kieran's been showing before, but we can actually configure it to show a subset of the planning application data, so you can see the location information and the proposal data here and the details of the number. In the Location Publisher as well, we also have the ability to show related records. So any records that are at the same location on the map, you can see those historical records or any records touching based on the spatial query you're using. And again, that's configurable. So you can see all the different applications that are sharing that site. And we have this pending records. This one here, God, it's pending a long time. It's been pending since 2009, but I think somebody doesn't want to send it in to get turned down. But as you can see, there is a protected structure there, so that's probably why it's taking a bit of time. So we can see the information. Again, I can click on the hyperlink button, and it'll bring up the planning system. In this case, it's APAS Web, and you can see that more data. And you can see the link is also two-way. They have a button on their application that will launch back into Location Publisher and display the map. So again, that's very important that you can link to the system. We've also linked with the ePlans and iPlans, and we'll have no problem linking with other systems like Odyssey. And you can also map to that record. So you can click in, and actually now you can see the boundary is highlighted on the map, and you can see it clearly. Or if you're interested in seeing the Google Street View of that location, you can actually fire up Google Street View. Hopefully it's working at that one. Let's do this slow. Let's try that again. I'll try a different record here. Map to that one. There we go. And you can see this is Mary's Abbey in Dublin. And we can, if we want to, we can walk down the Lewis line, and we can see this data, which is very useful for members of the public to analyse and look around. But actually, Location Publisher is used by some of our local authority customers on the intranet, and actually the planners find this Google Street View a really useful tool, being able to look at the neighbouring buildings. You know, again, this Google imagery is actually 2014, so it's pretty much up to date. You know, so the Google car must have been down the road recently. So again, without having to actually leave the office, they can actually analyse, look at the street, look at the surrounding areas. You know, if the guy has a proposed building for, say, a 10-story building, well, you can see straight away that that's taller than any buildings there, and there's going to be shadow and overlook issues as well. So they can do like with the web map, you can do your analysis, but you can also run a nearest service. So if somebody wants to say, well, I'm interested in this building, but I want to know if there are any churches or what services are within, say, half a kilometre of this application. So I can run that query, and we'll then get a list back of all the different features that Dublin City have published onto their web service that are available in a half a kilometre of that city centre map. So the way it's going naturally, it's a big area, and a big part of Dublin and the city centre is going to often querying that. So again, everything in Location Publisher, like all the applications you've seen today, all configurable. What you put in your nearest service, how you show the colours in the map, what you're going to see, all that's all configurable through our web tools. So again, if I want to go to the civic buildings in Christchurch, I can, get rid of that. I can see, oh yeah, that's Google Street View, yes. I can then link to it, and you can see, there's my planning application, there's the civic offices across the way, and you can see them. And you can also see with Location Publisher, we have an interactive map by default. We have the planning data on here. I can also decide, too far right, if I zoom in a little bit further, I can turn on any granted planning applications, any refused applications, and then they'll be rendered on the map, and you can see them. And again, you can hover over and click on them as well. You can also see we can control what background maps are available. Dublin City only wants planning data to be shown against the Ordnance Survey data. But if I switch topics and go into, say, council offices, you'll see the map changes, and we now have the council offices, and again, we can see them here on the map. But actually, I can go, no, I want to see this against Google Satellite, and we can see it against Google Satellite or Google Streets. Okay, so you see with Location Publisher, very powerful application, very good for getting data out, to be very easy to use to members of the public through your public portal. Okay, and then the next part, okay, so people have published the data, they know about it, they can then make comments on the information as they submitted it. But what might happen once the information is then built is that there's complaints about that development, that people aren't happy about how it's been done. Maybe somebody built the building too big, or put their put up an extension without planning permission or whatever. So you want, as a local authority, the ability to handle complaints or enforcement requests. So we have a complaints-driven solution that allows people in our public portal to capture this information either through a call center by somebody ringing in, or by capturing on the public website using our Map It tool. So Location Publisher Map It allows you to embed this type of functionality into an existing application. So if you're using a public CRM or an internal CRM like Sugar or Oracle or Microsoft Dynamics, you can easily embed mapping into it and then capture the location of the complaint or the enforcement. So again, first off, I'm going to show you how on our public portal we can capture these complaints, and then Kieran's going to show how we can manage this enforcement data in the back office using SmartLine. So let me just quickly jump back to the Dublin City website. It's DublinCity.ie. So on the Dublin City website, again, we can capture on their web page. On the home page, you have the ability to report it. So I want to report it. And this brings us up, actually what Dublin City use is Oracle iSupport. So it's an Oracle application which allows you to create service requests. And again, any of these can be an enforcement complaint. But again, in the case of Dublin City to actually allow it to capture any kind of issue. So if I'll quickly say I want reports from graffiti. I can then type in here summary hours on that, and then we can type in an address. So if I go Abbey Street, Lord, Middle Road, hit select map. In here then I can then log my complaint on the map, hit save, and then the map, then that complaint is then sent into the system, and then we can move on, we can move on onto the next street. Yeah, once it's captured, then we can move on to the next. I'll keep thinking the street's not there. It is there. But yeah, once it's captured and the location is captured, then this can then be saved to the database, and then I won't finish the complaint because it's not a real complaint. But then on the next page in the iSupport, you can fill out the rest of the complaint details. So this could be an enforcement or a complaint of unauthorized development or whatever. You can have a public portal for capturing these, or you can do it on the intranet as part of your Sugar system or your CRM system. And also Kieran's now going to show in the GIS and Smart Client how we can actually capture enforcement data as well. And over to Kieran.
Okay, thanks Kieran. Okay, here I'm just going to show how to enter in enforcement using GeoMedia Smart Client. So I'm just going to zoom into an area here in Dublin City. Zoom down. Okay, so here I want to add in enforcement. So just click on the enforcement tab here. We've got a new enforcement button which opens up the workflow form. And here again I can add in my planning reference. Okay, so again that gives me the address and the applicant name. Now I can put in the enforcement type, block and view, and put in the location where it is on the building, the rear, and I can put in the date that we received the complaint. And also we can put in the date that we sent out the warning on. And again, there's other details there you can fill in at a later date. Again, you can add a photograph if you want. So just go into pictures here, so that random photograph there. And I'll change the status to open, so I can save that enforcement. And then on the map, I can digitize. Okay, so just put in there again, you can see the snapping. And I just save that then. Just go into info mode here. So when I click on it then, you can see that the record is popping up here in the results panel. And again, I have my buttons here, which I can add in various different types of buttons. I can edit that record, delete the record, and I have my info button then out to iPlan or APAS, whatever system you have. That's it.
Okay. Okay. All right. So again, we've done a very quick run round all our solutions. And again, on the enforcement or getting any data out, we also have a mobile version. We just don't have time for today. We're already, I think we're slightly overrunning already. We also have a mobile version that can be used in the field, so you can access all this data or capture data through your iPhone or iPads or Apple or Android devices or whatever. And like everything we can do, we can then generate spatial reports from that. So thanks for your attendance there. We'll come on to any questions there in a second. But any of these webinars, so this webinar will be up online probably by tomorrow. You can access it if you want to hear our dulcet tones again. You can go back over it. We usually have a monthly webinar, but as we're coming up to Christmas, I'm not quite sure we're going to have one before Christmas, so the next one will probably be on the GeoMedia 2015 release. That may be in January. It depends if Amanda forces us to do another webinar before Christmas. But yeah, with the weeks coming up, we won't. Have we any questions?
Yeah, we just have one come in there. Can LP4 be used on mobile technology for data capture in the field?
Yes. So yeah, we didn't have a chance to show it today. Here, I'll give it a quick demonstration. So if I go to oh, there it is. LPM 4.3. So we have actually, with the way mobile solutions are going now, they're getting tablets and things are getting more and more clever. Even Location Publisher will run on a tablet. But if I show you here, this is the tablet version, the Windows tablet version. So you can see Location Publisher. You can see it's interactive. We have a nice toolbar here, so you can change your zoom scale, so you can go to country level. You can actually change your mapping, so I can turn on OpenStreetMap. And you can see actually OpenStreetMap runs even further than the map, and we can do zoom in. Now, if I was using an iPad or whatever, I could actually use finger pinch and pan, all that kind of thing, and I could zoom around and drag the map and grab it. And again, we can do data capture, so I can actually capture a point on the map, and if I can find save button, where's it gone? There it is. Save, and okay, and then that'll bring up a form. So in this case, we're using the Location Publisher Form Builder, which generates the form automatically out of the database, and you can set up these kind of drop-down lists and all these kind of things. Also, though, we can actually link to external applications. So if you wanted, instead of us going to our form, you wanted to go to your planning system or whatever, you can actually do that as well. So we have a number of ways of capturing that data. So yeah, there's a mobile version. We just didn't go into it today in detail, but everything that you're kind of shown today can then be used mobile. Oh, actually, and one other piece, GeoMedia Smart Client, which is the application we're doing kind of the heavy lifting in, it also has a disconnect and go. So you can actually take the maps, cache them locally on your laptop, and actually bring them to field and continue the workflow. Now, the workflow needs a wee bit tweaking when you're working offline, but you can bring that data out and use it in the field. Any other questions?
No, that was the only one.
All right. Okay, well, like I said, thanks for everybody for coming on. Again, another really well-attended webinar. We're getting great numbers of these webinars every month. I'd like to thank Amanda for arranging everything today, and Kieran for doing all the heavy lifting and getting the demos ready. And yeah, thank you all for coming. If we're not speaking to you before Christmas, we can be the first one to wish you all a happy Christmas. And hopefully we'll be talking to you in the new year on the next webinar. Thank you. Oh yeah, and if you want any more information about anything you've seen today, feel free to email either myself or Amanda. You'll all have Amanda's address, and my address is ckirk@imgs.ie. Okay, so thank you again, and have a good evening. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.